Hello, and welcome to Leadership as a Philosophy, Not a Checklist, video discussion 16 on a video documentary called True Stories about an artist named AVICII, or Tim Berg. Now, why is this even important? Well, AVICII, or Tim Berg, committed suicide and passed away when he was 28 years old. Committed suicide, passed away. 28 years old. So that's part of the quote-unquote 27 Club. There's a movie called 27 Gone Too Soon, where it talks about all of the young artists that ended up committing suicide or having some catastrophe in their life at the age of 27. It's about 800. If you go from 26 to 28, suddenly becomes 2,500. It's an incredible thing. Well, this video to me was painful to watch because they did the video as a documentary on AVICII's career, and then they released it, and then a year later he committed suicide. So knowing what happened, if you go back and watch the video, he was giving everybody around him all of the signs about what was going on in his life. I'm going to walk through this. It's going to be kind of a short video, but I think that the idea that I have can be applied to all those other artists and can be applied to anybody that's got a bunch of sycophants around that want a bunch of fame. So let's just proceed. This will be a little bit shorter, so don't worry about it. So symptoms of the 27 Club, right? So here's a synopsis. He's young. He comes out with this song called Levels, which is amazing. If you haven't listened to it, it's fantastic. You probably have heard it if you were at a sports stadium or something. And he blew up. It was ridiculously famous. Well, in the documentary, which is completely difficult to find, it's sort of buried. You have to have Amazon Prime. And then when you have Amazon Prime, you have to go to BBC Select. And then you have to pay for BBC Select. But they won't let you watch it in the United States, and I even tried to use a VPN to get around that. So it's very interesting that it went from being super visible on Netflix to almost impossible to see. And I think I'll be able to explain why. So it shows this thing. This is him being interviewed after a movie or after a concert, and the reporter's going, "This is amazing. What's this like?" And so, "Oh, it's crazy. It's madness. It's unbelievable." His producer, or his career manager, right, was sitting there in his office saying, "This song is so big, I'm going to have him doing so many things that it's going to kill him." It's in the movie, right? So it's pretty rough. Anyway, what happens with any young kid, super famous, super thing, lots of money, lots of partying, lots of all this sort of stuff. Well, we proceed a little bit further ahead, and his health got negatively impacted by the fact that he was going on stage all the time. So there's a scene where he's in Australia, and he had several events that were planned in Australia, and he's got pancreatitis because stress, bad diet, all this other sort of stuff. And he really didn't like performing on stage. It just gave him too much anxiety. So in order to get over the anxiety, he even says it in the movie, had to have a few drinks to get myself prepared to go. So stress, you know, all the great things. Well, in the scene, here he is in his hospital bed. Here's 2 or 3 Australian doctors saying, "You need to stop. You need to rest. You need to take a break." And on this side are tour manager, career manager, stage manager, all the managers. And they said, "We've got too many concerts. There's too much money to lose. We got to do this." So he goes ahead and does it. And it shows, there's videos of him flying back and forth to these places looking like a skeleton, looking terrible. And so what's the value here, right? He's going and doing all this stuff. It hurts him physically. It hurts him mentally. It's hurting his body. And the people around him, who around him is intervening and saying, "Stop, stop"? Nobody, right? It was like, just got to make all sorts of money. So here's a picture of that, right? This is what he looked like. He's zoning out, having a horrible time. His life is just it's very difficult for him. So this is where I say that the leadership thing is, because what's a leader's job? Attune competence and environmental hierarchies in pursuit of a goal. Well, nobody was taking care of the competence. Nobody was taking care of the talent. Nobody was making sure that his mental health was all right and his physical health was all right. Because this is the thing that's so funny. I mean, this is just me, and I'm a schmuck, right? I don't know anything. This is all electronic dance music. This is not the old days of a DJ where he's showing up with 32 milk cartons full of stuff. You see in the picture above, this picture here, he's got a MacBook Pro or a MacBook, and he's doing all of his music on his laptop. All he's doing is going up and plugging in the laptop. So this was 6 or 7 years ago, right? So do you really physically need him there? No. You just go out and make a big announcement and say, hey, look, here's the thing. Tim Berg or AVICII, he's, this touring and stuff is wearing him out, and so we're going to try to take care of him. Here's the set that he put together for us. Plug it in, have some cool personality get up there that loves being in front of a crowd and hit play. It's the same effect, right? That's all it really was. You don't get anything out of this poor, stressed out, messed up, unhealthy dude performing in front of you. But no, everybody around him, all the sycophants, just wanted to leech off of him. So just think about it. Michael Jackson, Prince, Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, all of these people had deep-seated problems. Where was the person around them that said everything just needs to stop? Pause. We need to make sure that this person's okay. Just apply it to all of them. Anyway, so he semi-retired. And he's on a road trip. This is in the movie again. A road trip, I think from California to Florida or the other way around, across the United States. And he comes out, and here's a couple of his quote-unquote friends, and they're all just looking out into space. One's on his phone, another one's dazed, whatever. And he's reading Carl Jung. And he says, oh my God, and he's the most excited you've seen him in the entire video. And he says, I found this book by Carl Jung, and it talks about archetypes, and it turns out that I'm super introverted and I need to be alone to do this stuff, and now that I know that, I can just focus on being by myself and not having to do all this stuff anymore, and this is amazing, and I finally realize now I can be, I can maybe look at being good or something. I can't remember the exact quote because I can't find the movie again. His friends are just, then he goes and does the final performance. And then, right, this is my impression from the video and a little bit from what I read. He retires. Well, he's not touring anymore, which means he's not making any more money. He did have an unreleased album that happened, but he's by himself in Dubai or somewhere in the Middle East and commits suicide. Now, during the video also, you see a bunch of people saying, oh yeah, his friends, and he had some of those things that happened to young guys. Not a single one of those people decided to go mentor him. Not a single one of those people decided to go and sit with him and say, look, here's the deal. We got to fix all this stuff. So he died. His net worth was about $60 million. So how much money was how much money? How much money was enough? And so when I looked at this, I just couldn't believe that, well, you got to actually see it. You hear it with all these other artists, but I just couldn't believe that nobody said, okay, stop. We have to stop. We got to figure out a better way to do this where he's still healthy and able to do all of his productive stuff, and we can make money. So what did that do? What did that do? We lost this, this great, talented, young, vibrant kid because nobody was paying attention to him or the environment. And the goal was just money. So what happens? If you want to make money, you're going to make lots of money. Well, why don't we have and? Anyway, so that's the story. Like I said, short video. But take this and then think about it when you look at any other super famous person. Some of these child stars, some of these younger kids that get somebody, and everybody wants them for their money. Everybody wants to use them for their money. Never mind what's going on with them. And they've got tons of money already anyway. How much is too much? You guys all know the statistic. After about $60,000 a year, your standard of living isn't any different. You just have nicer versions of the stuff that you have at $60,000. So is that really what we're looking at? Or are we looking at taking care of the person's soul, taking care of the humanity? anyway, I don't want to go on too much more. So this is one of the last pictures that they showed of him that he was releasing. So if you can get a hold of this movie, if you can find it, there are ways to find it that are not necessarily legal. I'm not advocating any of those. But if you want to watch it the right way, you have to, Amazon Prime, all that stuff. So it was released in 2017. He committed suicide in 2018. And it looks like a filmed confession. So that's it. Once again, not a sponsored discussion. And as always, I appreciate your time. And like I said, future videos are going to be back to regular scheduled stuff. No more 5-minute clips. Have a great day.